Welcoming everybody to Red Earth.
Black First.
Okay, so today is kind of like we're going to talk about a topic that we kind of touched on a little bit before, but we didn't go into full detail. We're probably not even going to go that far into detail this time either. It's going to be more of one of those, just delving a little bit more into of a conversation about it and a conversation about what I would go into I'll say the Akashic record. And the reason that that is so intriguing to me personally is because once I started to learn and understand it a little bit more, I started to realize that people, like, I don't know, it's almost like everything in a person's life is connected, whether they realize it. Like the things that you experience, the dreams, the deja vu moments, and sometimes, or either that little voice or just little things that I feel like you could go through your life and at that time it doesn't mean anything. It's just like, that's interesting. But I found with getting into like the Akashic record, it seemed as if things that at one point meant absolutely no major thing, like just a random connection to this, a random connection to that. Somehow it seemed a little bit like it all tied together. It was almost like, wow, like I remember that, or wow, like, okay, why did this come up, or that came up? And I don't know, I just found that really interesting. I found that really, really interesting. I ain't
Okay.
gonna, a little creepy, maybe at first. Creepy in the sense of it literally felt like all of my thoughts and feelings, happenings, emotions, experiences, I kind of felt that feeling like it was a recording. Like everything was recording upon recording upon recording. So it was like, wow, like it's almost like there is like some level of recording that's going into this, you know? So I thought that was
Mm,
kind of interesting. Like, and it kind of makes you think, like, people who, let's say, if they have those life experiences that are very um, out there, like let's say if a person lives a life where they're involved into some nefarious activities, or a person lives a violent type of life, or very, um, I guess, a life that is very on the edge.
yeah, you can say
I
that.
wonder if that person lives that type of lifestyle. And even based upon my experience, I'm real interested in, because they say some people can be in and out their Akashic record and not even know. Like you could have those moments where like you can hear well, I mean it depends on being clairvoyant, clairaudient, and a couple other things, but it's almost like those moments where you often wonder, even, and it's strange because I've even heard stories where a person, let's say if they're living life on the edge, I've even heard stories where a person could say, man, I was in this particular situation and just something said to me, or I felt like this was a complete repeat, or I'm repeating a cycle, or I feel like I've experienced this before, or so it's almost like even with them being in living in that type of way, it's almost like people, I think universally, I could be wrong, but it almost seems like a lot of people have one of those reflective moments where it's like, man, I feel like I'm repeating the same day. Like it just seems so familiar to me. Or, it's almost like they come to a decision, maybe not the exact decision in the previous lifetime, but it's like, man, I just feel like I was somewhat in this type of position before, where something about it so familiar. It could be a different decision, different lifetime, but it could be something so connected in other aspects of that decision in your life, which means it could be like they come to a certain age, it's a certain place, it's a certain time, it's certain other factors as far as weather, as far as people, as far as the place itself, where it's like, man,
So
I just feel like, I've been here before. Like I feel like I this moment means more than this moment, if that makes sense.
yeah, it's like a major case of deja vu.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what type of life people have lived, I mean, it just seems like everybody comes to that moment of, this is strange. This is weird. There's something familiar about this, even though it's a new experience. Um, and then I often wonder, when people go through life and they have those experiences where it's like they come to things, and of course we know there's monumental moments in life, the birth of a child, or you're getting married, or you graduate, or different things. We know that there's monumental moments, right? But
Hmm.
even within those moments, you may have some people are like, oh, this is a monumental moment. But then I'm wondering, okay, do you have other people where that moment is, they if subconsciously you took those two different people and you just had someone who's like, oh, this is pretty cool, I've graduated, or I'm getting married or something, and you take another person, right? Where somehow that could be linked to either some past, a life cycle, something significant about that, where they understand, yeah, this is a pretty momentous moment here, moment. However, there's something else about it that's like, it means something like on a whole different it means something on a whole different level, like something on another, like there's something else about it, where it's not like someone, let's say, who just they let's say they get married. We use that example. They get married.
Okay.
They're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I got married. I'm so happy. It's so romantic, and they go through the thrills and the feels of it. Where, let's say, to another person, they go through it, but there's almost like this different life transitional moment there, which means, yeah, they go through the thrills and the feels of it, but that marriage, or there's a symbolism, there's something there, below the surface, subconsciously, where they feel like this represents something different. Meaning, like, it's something else going on there with that marriage. It's not just the
Do you have like
marriage.
a you have something like an example?
All right, like, okay, like, let's take the example where we'll use marriage. Let's say woman gets married and she's like, oh, I'm so in love, and she's been dating for a while, and they decide that they're going to be in a relationship, which grows into a marriage, and they go through the typical, oh, the proposal, and of course this is after meeting family and putting time into the relationship. So they go through the, oh, this is so exciting, this is something I've always wanted to do, with this marriage, and I love this person. And then they go through it, right? They get married and they plan that life. They get the house and the children and everything. That's one side of it. But then the other side of it, right, where I'm talking about the Akashic record part, is, let's say, in past life cycles with this particular person, they felt like there was something linked to marriage, or linked to companionship, or linked to something that they were supposed to either conquer or learn. There's something about this that is significant for other reasons, right? And so they go
Okay.
through the same thing as the person before, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm happy and everything. But it's like a whole different experience is kind of added to that. What I mean by that is, let's say it's not just the putting the whole marriage stuff aside. There's something internal that's going on. Like, there's this feel of they have done something that they were sent to do, where, let's say, another person's like, okay, of course, I'm here, I'm on earth, I fall in love, I'm married. Where, let's say, another person fulfilling some type of life cycle or repeating some type of cycle can go through either, I don't want to say good or bad, but let's just look at the good part
Yeah.
about it, right? And so they get with that person, and they feel like they fulfilled. I mean, I hate to say sound so like out there, but they almost feel like there was some level of a prophecy here. There's some level of a, and they feel it. Like it's a heavy feeling of this was somehow not just the regular, oh, we were destined to meet each other. This right here is like a destiny like no other. And what I mean by that is the mate that they chose can be so like, wow, I feel like I've known him or I've known her, but it's something different. Meaning they could have actually had a come from a different a past together where they were actually coming back into the same cycle with each other, right? Where in the past lifetime they were like cousins, or they, I mean, not to be creepy, but
What?
let's say they were like, they were somehow connected. They were
Okay.
somehow intertwined in each other's life, right? And so when they meet that person in this life cycle, let's say they get married, there's something about that coming together that's a little deeper. It's almost like this is a prophecy. There's something, even down to the experiences of it. Like there's certain things he or she may do that is fulfilling, let's say, something from their past life and the person they're marrying. So it's like when they come together, it's kind of like this feeling like, okay, there's just something so different about this. It's almost kind of like certain things pulled us together and put us in a certain way. Like, even if you listen to how people explain relationships, you may hear someone say, oh, of course, he's the love of my life. And you'll listen and you're like, well, of course, that's what people say. They're not going to say he's the worst person and I married him or her. But then sometimes you can hear people talk about their relationship, and just to look at them talk about it, it's almost like there's something uniquely different. It's almost like they'll look at each other a certain way, the energy around them is a certain way, who they are. I mean, it's like you're looking at them and you're just like, wow, like there's something different about these people. Like it's almost kind of like you can look at them talking, you're feeling like it's like they're on Earth, but it's their union is so like it's like they knew something before they knew each other. It's just different. It's like they knew something before they knew each other. It's almost like the universe kind of started to pull them together, and then it's like even how they look at each other. It's almost like if you observe them sometimes, you almost feel like their feeling amongst each other was this is what it was always supposed to meant to be. Like this was, and I don't mean like, of course, other people say, well, shoot, I feel that way. Does that mean that I felt that way when I got with him or her and we got married? I felt this was always my person. And I get that. But I'm saying there's something more cosmic. There's something more magnetic. There's this connection, almost like it reaches over a span of lifetimes, where like there's something about that mate and that whole experience, not just the person, how they handle children, the marriage itself, the bond, the union. There's something about it where it's like this is a connection that has come across probably other lifespans where somehow this is the whole definition of destiny. Like we were
Mm-hmm.
destined, like there's no question about it. It's almost so trusting to where you trust the universe to say, look, however this person is supposed to be in my life, I'm just going to welcome however this relationship goes, because there's something about it that is not just, it's just meant. It's just somehow this connection is just like this person's supposed to be there. This person is like almost the feeling like they've always kind of been there, something familiar about that relationship. And it's like, it's just something about this that's just like, this person is supposed to be here in some capacity. And you feel it. Where let's say another relationship may be like, yes, I'm married, I'm happy, but it's not quite in that depth. There's no universal pull or feel there. It's just more like, yeah, okay, I'm married, I have a kids. We bought the house, we have kids. This is a lot of my, we got that routine going and we're happy. But it's like on the other side of it, it's like, yeah, there's something going on here. And it's not, you can't, and sometimes even put it in words. It's like, this person's supposed to be here. I feel like the universe has put them, not put them, but kind of orchestrated the whole union. You definitely feel like there's a greater something, greater power that has put this there where
Now
it
you
makes no sense, even maybe to both people. They're just like, something about this is just different. Even other people may get around them and observe it. Some people may see it, and some people may be like, oh, okay, that's such and such and such and such. But some people may be like, just being around you both, there's just something so different about you both. I mean, the connection, the force. There's something going on there.
so you can say that was based off the records.
Maybe they were supposed to come back in this life cycle and come together for a particular reason. Maybe they weren't able to be together in a past cycle. And in this one, they found each other where in the past one they could not be together for whatever particular reason, right? And
Okay.
maybe that's what it is, you know? So I'm curious about people out there who kind of either could relate or understand what it is I'm saying, where, yeah, you can be in a relationship and you love someone, and this is the person that you connect with, and you're like, yes, you know, I'm connected with this person, and I love this person. I've waited for this person my whole life, and that's great, and that's love, right? And then you have another whole type of different type of relationship where it's like, yes, you feel those things, but in addition to those things, you feel like, wow, this right here is something else altogether. And those two people could have even had prior relationships where, you know, they were in relationships and they moved on, broke up, went to until they found each other, of course, but they broke up and then they came back. Or it could even be a situation where they were with that person, they broke up, and it was just something about that person where they still kind of navigated back towards it was just something about that person. Now, of course, some people, you know, you could go a little deeper into like soulmates and karmic connections and things like that. But I think I would actually ask about that. I'm like, okay, so when you have that soulmate in your lifetime or that karmic connection with that person, is does it tie into the Akashic record? Does it tie into why is that person who they are to you now in this lifetime? I'm not talking about like a relationship you get in, he's cute, she's cute, you get with them. You're like, I'm so into them. They're adorable. I like the things that they do in the relationship. But this is a type of connection where it's not just, oh, those same things. It's like I feel like I've known you. Like like you get with that other soul and that person, you're like, I just feel like I've known you in a different type of way. I can't put my hands on it. Like I feel like I've known you for a very long time. But
And
it's
and
deeper.
so with that being said, it's more of a you're more drawn to that person. You're more understanding with that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Like
You can
like have you ever felt like, okay, I've been in relationships, but then I've met a person and it's just something like I don't it's just something about it's like a soul connection, you know. It's like there's some connection to this person's soul. It's deeper. It can be familiar. It can be even unexplainable, where you're like, it's just something about this person that I'm just like, what is going on? Like, you know, you feel like you're
um
being led a little bit. Like something's putting something of a greater power. I may feel some people is putting you with this person. Like even if you break up, let's say you have a dispute and or life circumstances, it doesn't even have to be like it's bad. Let's say life circumstances, you can't be with that person. And you can even go on to date other people. But it's something about this particular person where you feel like the universe, they're in your life for some way deeper universal um, reason, experience here. There's some type of mission. There's something here that you're supposed to experience with this person in this lifetime.
Yeah, I can see that. I can understand that. I'm
Yeah.
experiencing that. Um, I'm very drawn to something, and
Mhm.
I can't figure out what that is.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it's to the point where we will go through something, and I'm like, I'm fed up with it. I'm done with it. I'm
Mhm.
tired of this. I'm tired of that.
Mhm.
But then later on, I'm like, yo, like, I just gotta hear a voice. I just gotta, like, I gotta talk to her. I know I made her
Mhm.
mad. You know what I mean? It's like me personally, um, I'm very stubborn. So I kind of, when I get that way, I can honestly say, yeah, I know what that feels like.
Mhm.
I
Well,
hmm,
go ahead.
you I have moments where I don't sleep because I'm so like drawn to that person. Like
Mhm.
it's more than a love thing. It's like I said, I can't explain what it is, but it's you're willing to sacrifice more than you thought you could, and
Mhm.
it's just easier to do
Mm. That's
it. And
interesting.
it puts a drive into you that you had, but it's like now it's an overtime. It's like, yo, you gotta do this, 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 and this. It's like everything is more focused because you have to be next to that person.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's.
And like I said, though, the whole, because you were saying how it's like a universal thing, right?
Mhm.
And I'm thinking the person I'm speaking of, the whole thing is you wouldn't even believe it.
Mhm.
Sometimes I gotta sit back and be like, how is this working? But it is,
Right.
and
It's something about it where
as
you're like,
this,
okay.
it don't make sense. It shouldn't be where it is, but it is, and it's like it's growing stronger every day, and it's like, whoo. But then you also feel this, you feel a certain joy
Mhm.
that you never felt before.
Mhm.
And then that right there is like that's like the kicker right there. That's like, okay, this is what I've been supposed to do all this time. And I never
Mhm.
even noticed. And but yeah, so yeah, I kinda I get that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested in hearing like from people who might hear this video or hear this, and if they have comments about that experience altogether, even personally or knowing someone where they've either seen a couple where they're like, okay, there's something about these people, like there's something there, or you know how you have that couple that you're like, no matter what they go through in life, they can even break up, but there's something that keeps like pulling them back together. It's almost like there's something
Exactly.
too familiar about them, or if personally they feel as if, well, I've noticed the difference where I've been in just relationships, and then there's either that one relationship or the relationship that I'm in now where I feel like there's something different going on here. Like it's like I feel like, and you could even have people joke and say, I feel like I've known you in a past lifetime, or I feel like there's something about you that's just so familiar. Even on the first meeting, like that energy is like, something about this is a little different than the others, you know. Um, And again, even when you meet that person, you may not even think, oh, this is about a romantic thing. You may not even immediately be pulled for that reason. You could just meet that person. Let's say it evolves into romantic, but when you first meet them, it's something about them where you feel like you're kind of hooked in. Like let's say you go out or you just meet them somewhere and you're like, oh, I just met, yeah. But it's something about them where it's almost like it could be a room full of people, a group or whatever, but it's something about that person that stays with you. It's almost like you left, but they're still with you. Something, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, it's because they're so cute or they're. It doesn't even have to be for initially romantic reasons. It could just be there's just something I don't understand it, but there's something about it. I don't mean something like, oh, I feel like I've seen this person before. No. Well, not in the sense of I think he looks like the mailman type of. I'm not like that. It could be
Hmm.
something like of her or him where it's like you feel that you have somehow okay, there's something about this person that your mind even can keep circling back to, keep reflecting back to. You can even go back years later. Let's say if you met that person years ago and you're like, you know what, nothing came of it, but I still remember that one particular person. It was just something about that person. And it could have just been a conversation you and this person had. Let's say you don't even go into a relationship. You met this person um at like a party or something and you had a conversation but it was something about that energy where you were like I swear it's just something I cannot make sense of it um and you could not even be in a relationship with that person. You could just reflect. They could always kind of circle back into your mind where you'll go back and be like, yeah, there's just something about this person. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's like I feel like I know them, or I feel like there's a reason we met. There's a reason why we had that conversation. There's a reason why things kind of came together the way they were. But it's like a something that'll always keep circling back. It'll keep circling back, keep circling back. And you can even go on and marry, someone else and or be with someone else. But it's something about that person, you know, that you're like, something's different there. And maybe when we do our next topic, we'll talk about people, not necessarily in the romantic sense, but people in your life where you could have had connections with that could have actually very well been from a past lifetime. That you just, like I'm saying, with ending it on here, where let's say you've
Hmm.
met people and somehow they gravitate into your life, or people you're talking to every day, but there's some pull of a deeper connection there. Not your
Yeah.
just person that you're like, hey, how you doing? And because it's crazy. You got people. It's wild when you think about it. You got people in your everyday life now where you're like, yeah, that's such and such, or that's, and it's not so much of that in depth pull. You have a good relationship. Yes, you can have a really good relationship. But then there's those other people where you're like something else is a lot deeper going on here. There's some
Mm.
type of an energetic pull here. Even with the conversations, the whole energy shift is different. The whole energy is even telling you a story where you're like, wow, this is like this is out there. I can't explain it. Maybe I can try to explain it, but I'm just locked in with this person for whatever reason. But I'll be interested in hearing what the people out there have to say where it comes to their relationships, or even have they seen people they've been around, a couple that they've been around where their whole energy is like so intertwined where they're like, something about them as a couple. Or they're in a relationship and they're like, okay, well, there's certain something about this relationship that is definitely different than my last relationships. Or I've met someone and then have we've broken up and went on to other relationships, but it's still something about him that I feel like there's just something deeper. There's something more there, that's a lot different than any other experience that I've ever had. So I'm interested in hearing what people have to say. So you definitely could give some final thoughts while we wrap this up.
Um, I would like to hear what people will have to say. Also, on this topic can go so many different ways. And yeah, I would really like to see where it goes. So,
Mhm.
I would say yes, comment for now, and wait for the next upload.
All right, there we go. This is Red Earth.
Black Fire.
All righty. Bye bye.